So we're just a few hours away from another public hearing focused on January 6th. Lawmakers will discuss how former President Trump allegedly tried to use the Justice Department to bolster his attempts to overturn the 2020 presidential election. Three top officials who led the department near the end of the Trump administration will testify. Congressional correspondent Nikole Killion is joining us now from Capitol Hill with more. Nikole, great to see you. I'm just going to, as a side, I don't know what's going on with the red. We did not plan it this way, but everyone is wearing red. Everyone.
Balance it out with the blue. She woke up like this.
Yeah, it's weird. So, Nikole, what can we expect to hear today regarding how exactly former President Trump tried to use the Justice Department to give credibility to his stolen election claims?
Well, as the committee has laid out in many of its hearings to date, they will once again point out that this was a multi-pronged effort, including at the Justice Department. And we expect that the committee will really tick through a number of ways that the former president tried to sway the department to curry a favor and to try to get the election to go his way. So committee aides say, for instance, we will hear more about the former president's efforts to get the Justice Department to state that there was election fraud and to file for Trump campaign officials who were trying to contest the election, that the former president also tried to appoint a special counsel at one point to investigate fraud. So we'll hear more about those efforts, as well as the former president's desire for the department to send letters to states questioning the sanctity of their own elections. And of course, probably what's been most reported about have been the former president's efforts to try to change leadership at the Justice Department following the election, that he wanted to replace his acting attorney general with another individual who was willing to kind of go along with some of his ideas. Ultimately, although that didn't happen.
And along those lines, Nikole, we know that a former acting deputy attorney general testified that Mr. Trump considered replacing former Attorney General Jeffrey Rosen with Jeffrey Clark. So for the uninitiated viewers who don't know, who is Jeffrey Clark and why is this key?
Yeah, so this gets to the latter portion of my answer there, in the sense that, at the time, and keep in mind, this came at a period of real turmoil for the Justice Department. This was after former Attorney General Bill Barr had left, and so you kind of had this leadership vacuum. And so at the time, there was the acting Attorney General, Jeffrey Rosen, who took over after Bill Barr. But again, the former president really wanted somebody to do his bidding, and he saw that in this environmental attorney who worked for the Justice Department by the name of Jeffrey Clark. This was someone who shared the former president's views that the election was stolen, and so the former president actually did meet with Clark at one point, which kind of goes against protocol in terms of keeping that independence and that space between the Justice Department and the White House. And so again, ultimately that didn't happen. The former president didn't replace Jeffrey Rosen with Jeffrey Clark, but you will hear that name, Jeffrey Clark, I'm sure, throughout today's hearing. And worth noting that the committee did subpoena Jeffrey Clark and even at one point considered contempt charges against him. However, they did ultimately get him to appear, although he pleaded the fifth some 100 times.
Nikole, we also learned that British documentary filmmaker Alex Holder is scheduled to appear for a private deposition before the committee today, this morning. It's going to happen before the actual hearing. CBS News got exclusive sort of images from that documentary. And I was, saying to Robert Costa today, I was very surprised that this filmmaker had such liberal access to the first family, if you will, at such a crucial time. Yeah. What is the link between him and Trump and January 6th?
Yeah, that's right. So, look, this filmmaker, a British filmmaker by the name of Alex Holder, got hours upon hours of footage with key members of the Trump family, including many of the Trump children, Ivanka Trump and Eric Trump, Donald Jr., as well as even access to the former Vice President, Mike Pence. And he also got a lot of behind-the-scenes footage at Mar-a-Lago and really kind of covered the family and the campaign in the final 6 weeks of the former president's presidency. So from that standpoint, that is why the committee is interested in this footage, because, again, they want to get to the root of what happened January 6th, what led to it, what was going on behind the scenes in the run-up. And so they believe perhaps there may be something within this documentary that can shed new light on that. CBS News has learned that one of the interviews with Ivanka Trump that she did with the film crew involving this documentary, she did say at some point in December of 2020 that she did believe that her father should fight the election and that he should exhaust every legal remedy, which is a little bit different from what she told the committee in her deposition. You'll recall a few hearings ago where she said she accepted what then former Attorney General Bill Barr was saying in terms of, that there was no fraud with respect to the election. And she again said in her deposition that she accepted, what the Attorney General said. So again, a little difference in perspective from the former first daughter. And I'm sure, again, there's probably more in there that the committee is trying to comb through. And that's in part, too, why the committee does intend to extend these hearings. We have the hearing today, but we do expect more hearings next month because the committee is saying that it's getting so many tips, it's getting so much new information. So they do anticipate holding more hearings down the line to try to present some of this new material.
Just incredible to think there is more to find out. There's more to discover, more to see, more to watch. Nikole, thank you very much. We will bring everyone live coverage of today's January 6th committee hearing and a CBS News special report. Set some reminders for yourself. It begins at 3 p.m. Eastern.